Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel Gonzalez. I'm a recovering perfectionist, just trying to become more like Jesus and live in God's perfect will for my life. I am fresh back from spring break, and so I really miss, being off. But I figured today I would just kind of talk about what my kids and I did over spring break. Um, just really had a great time with them and thought this is kind of what my life will hopefully be like in the future, being home with them and stuff. So just thought I'd kind of share some of the fun things that we did. And, but actually my spring break started out March 8th was our first day. We had a half day. And that day, actually, I went to the beach with some friends. And so um, I got to leave Friday afternoon, got down there around like 7:30, met some of the girls for dinner at the Spot in Galveston, which is a really delicious place to eat right there on like the Pleasure Pier in Galveston. It was nighttime and we ate inside, so it wasn't like we had great views or anything, but um, we did that, and then we went to the beach house, which was in Galveston, and we were celebrating one of my friends' birthday, who I've been friends with now, like I think 8 years, 7 or 8 years now. Um, and so we were celebrating her birthday, and just really for me, it was kind of just nice to get away and have some time to relax and sleep and get some sun. But that was, Friday night we got there, settled in. We were up until probably close to midnight, went to bed. I don't ever really stay up that late, so that was a lot. Then of course, I wake up super early at 4:30 to pump every single morning. And so I did that, but then I got to go back to sleep, which was really exciting for me. Um, so I went back to sleep on Saturday. I think I woke up at like um, almost 9 that morning. Um, and then, we kind of just like hung around. I made breakfast. Um, I think it was probably one of the fun things about the group of people we went with where they were mostly teachers. And so, like teachers and their spouses. And so then, um, the first night we were there, everybody like pulls out a book and we're all sitting around just like reading or talking about the books that we're reading. So that was really fun for me because I don't have a ton of people in my life who I can just read with or talk about books that I'm reading. So that was awesome. Um, After everybody kind of woke up and got showered on Saturday morning, we ended up going to lunch at this like I don't know, it was like an Asian Cajun fusion place. And I got a shrimp po' boy, which was so delicious. And then we went to a bookshop and got coffee. And that's all just stuff that my friend wanted to do for her birthday, which was like her ideal kind of uh, birthday day. And then they all ended up going to the aquarium. So I went back to the house just by myself and like hung out, took a shower, sat on the porch and got some sun, listened to a book that I was listening to on Audible. Um, and then later in the evening, we met up at a place called Jimmy's on the Pier, and that we went and ate there. The sunset was so beautiful off of the porch there. I'm a sucker for a sunset, and so I watched the sunset over there. Um, we had dinner and drinks and then headed back to the beach house. And that when we got back to the beach house, we kind of decided, okay, well, let's, play some games. We did Cards Against Humanity. And then it was pretty late, like after 11, where we were like, okay, it's either like play another game or go to sleep. And we ended up sticking it out for another game. And we played a game called Mind the Gap, which is like a really fun game, kind of like Trivial Pursuit, but it's more like decades based and stuff. So that was really fun. My partner and I almost won, but we did not actually win. And then again, we went to bed after midnight. So very late nights for me. I should have been going to sleep earlier, but ended up sleeping again pretty late. I think till like 7 or 8 in the morning. And then just got started getting like packed up to go I think I left there around, well, so after I got packed up and everything, I was planning to leave at, I think, 10. But then it was like starting to look more like 11. And then by the time it was like almost 11, my friend and I decided to go for a walk on the beach, just hung out with her a little bit more for her birthday and stuff. And then ended up leaving there like around 11:30. So drove all the way back home, got home around like 3:30. And then just the kids, I guess, that morning had watched Kung Fu Panda and they thought it was really funny. So we spent the afternoon watching Kung Fu Panda 2. And then they go to bed pretty early. My kids go to bed around 7, between 7 and 7:30 usually. So they went to bed their normal time. Jose and I started watching The Chosen, which I don't know if I've already talked about this or not, but we really liked. And so we've been watching that. So we watched a show. The next day, the 11th, was our anniversary. And so that day I hung out with the kids. In the morning, we had a play date with a friend who I used to work with, and her daughter went to daycare with JJ at the daycare, in our district. And then our friends came over in the afternoon also because they were going to be staying with the kids while Jose and I went out to eat. So for our anniversary. So we had friends over in the morning, kids took a nap, had friends over in the afternoon. They stayed with the kids and actually put them down for us. Such a blessing. It was really hard, but it was a huge blessing because Jose and I were able to go out and eat a dinner together without being interrupted. And we got to watch the sunset. Again, love doing that. So there was live music and then, just a lot of fun. So we ended up going back home. My friend kept the baby monitor while we were sleeping. So we got to have like a full uninterrupted night of sleep. And the baby sleeps through the night anyway, but sometimes we'll wake if she's like making noises or, grunting and stuff like that. So just no interruptions to sleep, which was wonderful. And my boys thought that we were gone actually. So like sometimes they'll come into our room if, they need something, or they'll call if they need water or something like that. But they thought we were gone. So they did not interrupt us either. And then Tuesday, since our friends had stayed over, my husband went to work and the kids stayed and played with our kids. They ended up watching Kung Fu Panda 3 after that. So that's leading up to another activity that we did over the break. But they all played, our friends left, and then Tuesday afternoon we actually we had an appointment in Austin to get some TB tests done. So I had a physical therapy appointment. So Jose drove me and the kids to the physical therapy appointment. I took Ellie in with me while he took the boys to a playground nearby. He came back and picked us up. We went to go get our TB tests because we have to have those for doing foster care. And then afterwards, we went to Chick-fil-A for dinner where the kids played some more. We ate dinner and then we headed back. So that was like a super full day. And we were very fortunate that Jose was able to take off a little bit early to be able to go do those things with us so that we could, the TB tests are really the last thing that we had to get in order to to go forward and get our license for foster care. So that's all done, thankfully. And it was lucky that he was able to come with us. Then on Wednesday, in the morning, we kind of hung out. We had to get prepared, I think. Yeah, so we just hung out in the morning and I played with the kids. And then in the afternoon, my husband came home early again, we met him in Bastrop where he works to go to the movie theater and the arcade. And so I had to take the kids over to I took Ellie over to my mother-in-law's, but it was like, getting all that stuff packed up. And then took the boys to the arcade, and we were going to see a later movie and do the arcade first, but we got there in time to see the movie first. So we went to see Kung Fu Panda 4, and we love going to that movie theater because they have the most delicious food. It's just like I got a burger this time. Usually I get a buffalo chicken sandwich, but the last time the buffalo chicken was super spicy. So I got a burger this time, and their bread is delicious. Their fries are delicious. Every time we go to the movie theater, I always get a small popcorn with a cup of like nacho cheese. That's my movie theater vice. But we ended up eating there, eating dinner there. So watched the movie, ate dinner, and then afterwards played at the arcade. We lost track of time completely. Oh, and that arcade has half price games on Wednesdays, which is why we chose Wednesday to go, because then we got to do more games for less money, which is always awesome. And my husband and my son, JJ, they to play like the Jurassic Park and the Transformers games. It's like they're shooting games, and I hate it, but my son is so good at those games. And so him and my husband actually beat the game um, while we were there. So that was fun for them. And then Jose went and picked up Ellie real quick, and I took the boys home and we got them into bed and stuff. Again, we're pretty much watching Chosen like every night. Or Jose's also started another show kind of on his own, so that way if I have things going on or like have to get things done, then he can be watching that show on his own as well. Because we're not going to watch The Chosen without each other. We really, really like that show. And then, okay, so that was Wednesday. Thursday, I'm trying to think in the morning. Okay, so Thursday we had a showing on our house, which actually ended up being a bust, but I spent pretty much the whole morning getting the house ready, cleaning up, packed up the kids and went to my sister-in-law's house, which is where I ended up putting the kids down for a nap. And the boys were just like, I don't know, like they're really hard to get down for naps some days. Like some days they're really easy and some days it's really hard. And this day just happened to be a very hard day. Granted, I mean, we were in a different place and it was pretty bright in the room, and, they were sleeping together instead of on separate beds, and, so they're just like goofing around and stuff. So I got really frustrated about that. But luckily Ellie was a good napper that day, and I didn't have to tend to her at all. So I could really focus on like getting the boys down for a nap. And then my sister-in-law was actually out when we got there. So by the time that, the kids woke up and stuff, she was already home. And then we just hung out with them pretty much the rest of the afternoon. Did some outside time, snacks, of course. They watched a little bit of TV. And then I think we ended up watching Boss Baby, the movie. So that we were planning to leave at 4 so I could like get home and cook dinner. But they ended up watching that movie, and so we stayed until it was over. Got home like right as Jose was getting home, had dinner with him, hung out, and then, all of the things after that, the bath time, brush teeth, read books, go to bed, the daily night stuff. And then Friday was like the last day of spring break, and we had to go back and get our TB test looked at, because when you get a TB test, they like put a little bubble under your skin. Then 48 to 72 hours later, you have to go back and get it reread. So we ended up doing that. We went and got that done. And then I'm trying to think of what else. I think we ended up going to we ended up going home and eating dinner. I'm trying to think, like, what did we do for dinner that night? And I really don't remember because it was such a long week, but a beautiful, fun, fulfilling week to be with my kids every minute of every day throughout the week. I mean, obviously I had that little break at the beach beforehand, so that was nice, like going into the week to really spend all of the time with the kids. And then Saturday, our kids are playing soccer, so Saturday they had a soccer game. Well, JJ had a soccer game. When we got to the soccer game, our niece was also playing at the same time on like they were playing right next to each other on the field, so we were watching both at the same time, and it started pouring down rain and lightning, and so we had to wait in our cars until it passed, and then they started up again. Well, my niece's team really needed like extra players because a lot of them had gone home, so my son Brady ended up filling in because he's the same age group, but his team had a bye that week. So he ended up playing with them. They all played really great. My niece is still kind of getting into it, but the boys like finally like touched the ball this time at least. And then afterwards, we already had plans to go out for my father-in-law's birthday. So we went and got him like a little hat at this hat place in Elgin. And then we went to this place called Millie's on Main in Elgin. That's kind of new, our friends own, and we love. But it was still like kind of rainy and wet, so the kids didn't get to play outside like we were hoping. However, the food was delicious. We sang to my father-in-law, and then, left for nap time and all that. And then because Ellie hadn't really gotten good naps on Saturday, she was kind of fussy in the afternoon. So that kind of sucked. But, we got to hang out as a family. And then we ended up having two of my old coworkers who I worked at the intermediate school with. They brought their kids over. We had a play date for that and made some pasta for dinner. And we had a lot of fun. The kids always, I feel so sad when the kids leave, because then JJ gets like really sad. Like he really misses his friends. But it is what it is. Everything has to end, Sunday we went to church. I actually had to serve at church on Sunday in the nursery. So Jose stayed at home with the kids in the morning while I served, and then he brought them after. Um, and then in the evening we ended up watching The Prince of Egypt, which Jose had seen as a kid, but none of us had ever seen. So we all watched that. It's like the story of Moses, and his calling and all of that stuff, and kind of his background, but like a animated version of it. So it was really good. And, we really try not to watch a lot of TV, but this week, with them being home and stuff, it's kind of fun just to like watch movies and things. I love, like, there was one point where I had the baby and the boys were next to me and Jose was next to them and we were all cuddled up on the couch, and it was just like, just the perfect ending to the week, before coming back and hitting the grind. So, last week on my video, I forgot to share, a Bible verse, and I was thinking about it afterwards, and I was really kicking myself because there's a verse from, our wedding that I really would have loved to share. And so I'm going to read it now. It's Ecclesiastes 4:9. And this is what Jose and I did at our wedding as like our unity ceremony. So it says, "Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their efforts. For if either falls, his companion can lift him up. But pity the one who falls without another to lift him up. And if two lie down together, they can keep warm. But how can one person alone keep warm? And if someone overpowers one person, two can resist him. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken." And pretty much what the picture is, and what kind of the pastor talked about at our wedding, is like, two are better than one. So, that's the husband and the wife joining together. But then a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. And that's what we did for our unity ceremony, was like, we braided a cord with 3 strands. And what that third strand is, that just represents God. And so it's basically just talking about like keeping God at the center of your marriage. And when you do that, the bond will not be broken, right? Because it's not easily broken. And so I think that's just like a really beautiful picture of, yes, marriage is 2 people, but it's really also like a covenant with God. And, so just the picture of, this is how you can create a strong marriage, with Christ at the center. And, we really try to keep it that way. We try to build our family life on the foundation of God. And sometimes, just like anything in life, we kind of ebb and flow. We come away from it and think, okay, we really need to like be getting back into the word, making sure we're doing this with our kids. And so it was fun, like watching The Prince of Egypt with the kids, and like reading that night. Then we like read the Bible story of Moses to like kind of make connections to it from their kids' Bible and stuff. So we're trying really hard. I think that at the end of the day, we both pursue God in our own ways. And then, we try to also like pursue Him together and as a family as much as possible. And we're just, like I say every time in the videos, like I am working to become more like Jesus and live in God's perfect will for my life, but I am not perfect at it. Our family's not perfect at it, and we're really trying. So, um, overall, this week was a really fun week. I'm really excited that I got to spend so much time with my children. I'm excited that my husband was able to spend a lot of time with us as well, doing fun things for spring break. But it has made me really, really excited to get to stay home with my kids, hopefully soon. And I'll just keep you updated on that. And of course, as always, I'll see you next week.